Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today's video let's talk about ways that you can fund your studies abroad. So the very first way that you can fund your study abroad, and the easiest one on you as the student, is definitely with a scholarship. If you apply for a scholarship and you receive one, that is like a dream come true, because you're going to study abroad and just go through the experience like a baby. As someone who had the prestigious FGEN scholarship, it was amazing because I had first of all had a master's degree from Belgium without a scholarship, where my family, my mom and myself, we had to pay for my studies. So it was not the easiest of things for me to do, and the next time I wanted to study, I was like, you know what, scholarship it is. So the best way for you to study abroad that I would recommend anytime, any day, is to get a scholarship. There are so many scholarships that I share on this channel: the FGEN scholarship, the Vliru scholarship. You also have the Fulbright scholarship, Hungarian government scholarship, mastermind scholarship. There are so many scholarships that you can apply for and get. So I would encourage anyone who wants to study abroad to please first of all try to get a scholarship, because that's literally the best way that you can go about this. The second way or method through which you can pay for your study abroad is through savings or family support. So if you have some savings that you've put together, so you know that you want to study and you've put together your savings and say, this is what I want to use to pay for my fees and living expenses. And you could also ask your family members to support you if that's something that is possible. So that's the way that most people that I know get to study abroad. They get financial support from their family and they put together their savings. This is another way through which you can put finances together and study abroad. While this is a way that is better than most other options, it's still not the ideal way for you to study abroad, because with family support, it literally means that you have to be depending on your family while you are abroad, and it's not easy. For someone, say in an African country where the currency is generally weaker than, say, Europe or the United States, you have to ask your family to send you money from a currency that, so it's really not the best thing to do, to always depend on your family. The third way for you to fund your study abroad program is closely linked to the second one. So let's make an assumption that you have been able to save some money, your family has supported you, and you have traveled abroad, say to London to study. The next thing that you may want to do to support your family and yourself is to make sure that you work while studying. You could decide to do a part-time job while you're studying. Now, as somebody who has done this before, I did a part-time job while I studied for my first master's. It's like student jobs, and it was very exhausting. I didn't get the opportunity to do it for too long, but the limited time that I did it, it was very exhausting to be able to work and go to school and meet up with the requirements of school. But the simple truth is that as much as it is very hard and exhausting, I would still recommend it, because it is something that prepares you for life after graduation. It prepares you for the real world, where you are always busy and you really have to work hard and hustle for you to be able to survive the way life has become. A few people that I know have been able to who have really good jobs with top companies, have been able to negotiate with their employer to pay for their studies while they study abroad, and then they have some kind of agreement as to how many years you would have to work back in that company upon graduation. But this is usually for very top companies, top jobs, and skills that are highly sorted in the job market. If you are a prospective international student, one of the ways that you can fund your study abroad program is by need-based bursaries or grants. Now, these are kind of like scholarships, but not really. With scholarships, typically, You can just apply if you meet the requirements and you have that X factor, that sauce, that ingredient that they are looking for. You're special, you're excellent, you've done amazing things, they will take you. But with need-based grants and bursaries, what happens is that it's usually need-based. This can be given by government, private institutions, or non-governmental organizations, but also academic institutions. Like most universities in the UK do have things like that, where the school itself decides to give grants or bursaries to students. It may not be a total of the fees that you have to pay, but definitely they usually give a substantial amount that will come a long way towards you achieving that goal of studying abroad. So what you have to do is to meet the requirement, and one of the most common requirements for need-based bursaries and grants is usually that the applicant is coming from a low income or low economic background. So you have proven beyond reasonable doubt, based on the criteria that they give, that you cannot be able to fund your studies, but you have the skills that they need, and you are an excellent student that if they invest in you, they won't regret it. So that's another way that you can fund your studies. Finally, my least favorite way through which you can finance your study abroad program is by student loan. Now, this is very common in the United States, for instance, where there are government and private loans that you can get to be able to pay for your studies. While this is something that most students do, especially in North America, it's not something that I'm familiar with in terms of I have never applied for that, because we do not do that where I come from. But what I know about student loans from talking with friends and other scholars and also reading is that this is very tricky, because the criteria are usually very tight, and also the payment of the loan is not going to be on the amount that you take. It's also going to be plus the interest. And you know that interest rates are never favorable to you who is paying them back. So that's why you find so many people who study in the United States and have taken this loan, they get to go back to school and start repaying this loan. So you work for the rest of your life with something hanging on your neck. So this is something that I do not recommend, but the truth is that it's one of the ways to fund your study abroad program. So if it's something that you can access and you feel that you can do it, then of course go ahead. But I absolutely do not recommend this, because I have never been in this position. So guys, those are the ways through which you can fund your studies abroad. Let me know in the comment section if there are other things that you want me to talk about on this channel with regards to studying abroad, or you prefer for me to just keep giving scholarships. But until we meet again, please do not forget to create some impact.